Why David Goggins is the toughest man alive. Now, I recently saw David Goggins at an event that he spoke at in Sydney. It was the first time that he's came out here, and he shared his story, how he used to be so far overweight and had no discipline, was so lazy, and he grew up in housing estates where he could barely afford for his food and to survive. As he was going through his journey, he decided that he needed to do things to become tough and to become the man that he is today. And when he started out, he actually enrolled himself for Navy SEAL training. Now, the first time that he enrolled himself, he actually didn't get through and he didn't make it. And the second time, he didn't make it either. And he was the only person in history to attempt Navy SEAL training for a third time. Now, when he showed up to Navy SEAL training for a third time, he started that with shin splints and fractures in his legs. And he wouldn't tell the commander that though, because he knew that that would make him look weak and they might advise him not to do it. And he was even diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. And so that meant that it made it very hard for him to do the underwater exercises where they tie your hands and feet together and you have to try to float. And he was prepared for that. And he overcame all of this to become a Navy SEAL. Now, once he became a Navy SEAL, he wanted to do these long marathons and he wanted to qualify for this race. And in order to qualify for this race, he was told he had to run 100 miles in 24 hours. That's huge. And if you're watching this in Australia, it's 160 kilometers in 24 hours. That's a lot of kilometers. And as he was running on this track, it was one track he had to run around and round and round. He got to mile 60 and he was a mess. He was wrecked. So he went and sat down. The only problem is when he sat down, he was so dizzy, he couldn't get up to go to the toilet. And he said to his wife at the time, "Honey, how much do you love me?" And she said, "Why?" He said, "Because I'm about to shit myself." So he had to shit himself and pee in his pants. He said, "I had this massive log up my back. I had to go to the toilet in my clothes." And then he's like, "Now I could quit now or I could keep going." And he said, "Well, I'll just start by doing 1 mile more, just one more." And he ran 1 more mile. And then he's like, "I'm still going, I'm still alive, I'll do 1 more." And then he did another mile. And then he kept going. And within about 19 hours, he actually did these 100 miles within 24 hours. And he couldn't believe it. And he said that is where the 40% rule came from. That means whenever you're tired, whenever you think you can't do any more, you have at least 40% more inside of you. Because at mile 60, he was done. He didn't think that he could do any more. But he said we place these limits on our mind. We place this ceiling of what we think we can or can't do. But there is always more on the other side of the limit. And that's how he's become so successful and so well known. And he even entered the World Guinness Book of Records on the most number of pull-ups that could be done within 24 hours. Now, this man attempted it many times and he didn't get the record straight away. He said, "I didn't fail, I attempted." And then he just went back and eventually he broke the record. And he did over 4,000 pull-ups in 24 hours. And I think he did at least 17 hours of not sleeping straight, of just pull-ups. That's wild. So this is showing you what is possible for you, what you can do, and I want you to know there is much more possible for you, knowing that there's so much on the other side of those limits. Hope this video has helped you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to this video. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.